This is the tutorial for Chapter 2, Section 4, titled Solving Equations with Variables on Both Sides. And so here we're solving for x, and so whenever you see the minus sign right in front of the parentheses, think of this as -1, and you're distributing -1 over both of the terms. So I've got -8x minus 3x minus 6 equals 4 minus x. So I'll collect the like terms on the left-hand side. With the same sign, I end up adding the two numbers, and I end up with -11x minus 6 equals 4 minus x. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 6 to both sides. At the same time, I'll go ahead and add x to both sides as well, and that gets the x's on one side of the equal sign, the left side, and my constant on the right side. And so when I go ahead and divide by -10, I end up getting an answer of x equals -1. Taking a look at the next problem, I'll distribute the -3 over both terms first. So I'm going to bring down the 14 plus the 3n equals 8n, and then it's a minus 3n plus 12. Watch that sign. That's the common error I'll see when we've got to distribute a negative number over some subtraction. Make sure you have a positive as that last term in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and combine some like terms. I've got 14 plus 3n equals 5n plus 12. And then I'll go ahead and subtract the 3n from both sides. I'll go ahead and subtract 12 from both sides as well. So I'm left with 2 equals 2n. Dividing by 2 gives me my answer of n equals 1. Look in the next type. It says determine whether each equation is an identity or whether it has no solution. Identity means that there are infinitely many solutions, is what the identity tells us. That tells us that you could put any number in place of the variable and you'll have a true answer. No solution means you cannot put any answer, any number in for the variable, because it just doesn't equal. So I go ahead and distribute. I've got 12m plus 16 equals, on this side I have 12m plus 16. So you know you have one of these two when your variable terms are the same on both sides. And you'll see why, because we'll go ahead and subtract the 12m, and they both cancel out on both sides of the equal sign. We're left with two numbers that equal each other. So whenever you have two numbers that equal each other, that's called an identity. And that tells us that we have infinitely many solutions. So if they ask for what the solution is, that's what our answer would be if we end up with that identity. So looking at this next one, we go ahead and collect like terms on the left-hand side. I'm left with 7x minus 3 equals -3x plus 10x. Now I'm going to go ahead and collect some like terms right there. And so when I do that, that leaves me with -3x and 10x gives me 7x. So whenever you have variables on both sides that are exactly the same, you'll notice that they'll end up canceling out. So you'll end up with one of these two answers. In this case, we end up with -3 equals 0, which is not true. So this is a no solution. So those are the two types that you'll see if your variables end up canceling out. So let's take a look at the last type of problem here. We've got some word problems. It says a square and a triangle have the same perimeter. The length of the sides of the square is 4x minus 1. So 4x minus 1 is one length of the side, but we've got 4 sides to make up the perimeter. And so it says that the length of the rectangle is 2 times by 2x plus 1. So that's one length. So the length of the rectangle is this. We're dealing with the perimeter, so we have to double that. And I'll double the width also. The width is x plus 2. So I'm ready to solve. So I go ahead and multiply. I'm left with 16x minus 4. On this side, I have a 4x plus 2. And over here, I have a 2x plus 4. Just using the distributive property to get those expressions. So I'll collect like terms on the right-hand side. These two terms here make 6x. These two make positive 6. And this all equals 16x minus 4. So we're ready to go ahead and solve by doing some opposite operations. So both sides get an opposite operation there, and we end up with this. 10x equals 10. So to solve, all you're going to do is divide by 10, and we know what x is. X is 1. So since we're dealing with a length, don't know what the units are, I'm just going to write 1 unit. Let me get rid of that extra s there. 1 unit. And so let's take a look at our last type of problem here, another word problem. It says the movie club charges one-time membership fee of $25. So that's going to be our $25. It's like our constant. Then we're going to be each purchasing movies for $7 each. Alright, so we've got $7 times the number of movies that we end up buying. Don't know how many movies we're going to buy, so maybe we should set that equal to our variable. So M equals the number of movies. And we'll know that's right if that's what our question is. Let's continue reading. It says another club does not charge a membership fee, so no membership fee there, so 0, and sells movies for $12 each. Okay, so $12 per movie. How many movies must the member purchase for the cost of the two clubs to be equal? Okay, equal. So that's what we're going to set there. So how many movies? Again, that shows us that we are correct in using the variable M for movies, because that's what we're trying to find. So I'm ready to solve. I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 7M from both sides. Leaves me with 25 equals 5M. So I go ahead and divide by 5. That gives me my answer. M equals 5. So it's 5 movies. Make sure you put some units with your answer. So those are the types of problems that you're going to see on the homework. Good luck.